Hello? Is this thing on? Right. Big blue button. Okay, now? Incoming transmission. Please hold. Greetings, fellow explorers. Welcome aboard the Ancient Astronauts podcast, your portal to safe time travel for humans. I'm Ona, your cosmic co-pilot, and these are my navigators, Rafi and Caspian. Together, we'll explore past lives, uncover ancient truths, reawaken magic, and discover the invisible threads that connect us all.
Coming up on Ancient Astronauts.
Their planet will be destroyed. We have seen the timelines.
And so they came down to Earth with the intention to enslave the human race.
Non-interference clause on Earth, is that still active?
Its release is being negotiated depending on how humans respond to the progression towards open contact. The moment you begin treating money like you do kittens, you will be rich.
For millennia, humans have gazed at the stars, searching for answers to life's biggest questions. Who are we? Where do we come from? And why are we here? On Ancient Astronauts, we use a method called QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, to travel to higher dimensions and retrieve wisdom from the higher self. Think of it as a time machine for the soul, bringing back insights from past lives to heal and transform your present. On this podcast, you'll hear real clips from QHHT sessions, giving you a rare glimpse into other astronauts' travels. Join us as we dive deep to unravel the mysteries of the great unknown.
Live from Earth here in Topanga Canyon, strap in and prepare for takeoff. Our next great adventure begins now.
Welcome back, travelers. You're listening to transmission number 2 of the Ancient Astronauts podcast. I'm Ona, and before we continue, I want to name something honestly. This part of the journey is where things get weird, and I can't even say that this is as weird as it's gonna get, because honestly, truth is, this is just the tip of a massive iceberg hiding under the surface. I really have no idea what you guys are going to make of this. And on many days, I don't even know what I think about all of this. So, yeah, there's a tiny bit of nervous excitement in all of this for me. In many ways, it feels really vulnerable to be sharing these stories, this part of me with the vast wilderness of the internet. Especially when many of the things you'll hear me say under hypnosis sound extraordinary, to say the very least. But when I began this podcast, I promised myself that I would be radically honest about my experience. And so that's what I'm offering today. One perspective, one stream of forgotten memories, and my interpretation of those experiences through the lens of Ona on Earth today. In the last transmission, Sophie and I explored one of my human lifetimes on Earth, an incarnation as a high priestess in ancient Egypt, a life that still sends echoes through my soul. Today, we are going somewhere else entirely, beyond Earth, beyond human form, into the possibility that consciousness doesn't evolve the same way everywhere. What does life look like on other worlds? What happens when civilizations develop under completely different conditions, different bodies, different environments, and different rules? And how might listening to those perspectives expand our own awareness? This isn't about convincing you. I don't need you to believe me. I don't even claim to have the truth. In fact, the deeper down this rabbit hole I go, the more questions I have, and the more certain I am that you know nothing, Jon Snow. I'm simply inviting you into the space with gentle curiosity, because this is my favorite part of the adventure. The questions, the rare discoveries, and the strange buzzing sensations that run through my body when I listen back to these clips. And as you listen, I invite you to notice what happens in your own body. Notice what you feel before your mind tries to make sense of it. For some of you, this might land quietly. For others, it might stir something. Images, sensations, emotions, even recognition. Sometimes these transmissions can activate memory in ways that aren't conscious at first, so if anything in this feels familiar, even if you can't explain why, that resonance matters. Maybe you were there with me. Maybe you've touched something similar in your own travels. And maybe pieces of your own puzzle suddenly come into focus. And if that's the case, welcome back, Soul Fam. I'm so excited to connect with you once again. We all may not have officially met on Earth in this lifetime yet, but I know you're out there, listening. And now, it's time to remember. All right, I'm about to patch us back into the interview with Sophie now. As a quick reminder, the video feed did not survive the encounter with our resident Chaos Goblin, Raphael Starpounce. He's orange. If you know, you know. What follows next is an audio-only transmission. Let's tune in.
Initiating. Link established. System stable. All subsystems online.
Speaking of wild, you ready to get fucking weird?
Yeah, let's get weird.
Okay, so we did like a human life. So now I'm in the land of not Earth. I really don't know what to say about most of this stuff.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna intro most of it because I don't really know how to explain it.
Okay.
Yeah, a little nervous. Because it's yeah, let's just go into it. Dear God. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do this.
I'm excited.
I was like, oh, this will be fun. I'll share clips from my session, and now I'm like over here sweating a little bit, but
The ego's popping in.
well, it's just I think like yes, and it's intimate.
Okay.
You know, like that life we just shared. There was a lot of intimate moments, right? Now you're gonna hear me say some really wild shit. I guess that's just what I want to say. And I still disassociate a little bit from it. You know what I mean? And like I've gotten more used to it the more often I do this work, and like no one else's sessions ever trip me up. I think like what I'm reacting to and what still feels a little weird is it's still fucking strange to hear some of this stuff come out of your mouth with such certainty, and then to be like human Ona sitting here going, I'm a little nervous, but
Chunky.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna play it and
Okay.
then we'll talk about it. And okay, here we go. This is a little bit longer, by the way.
Okay.
Tuning string. Not Earth.
The work I do sometimes involves going to unknown places and meeting unknown creatures, and I will watch them for some time before I make first contact. And if it is deemed that they would either be a threat to myself or to themselves by the appearance of my arrival, or that the emotion that would be triggered is fear, I may do this in order to approach safely so that I am in safety and they are also in safety. So there are no rash moves, particularly with less evolved creatures or creatures that are known to be hostile and may attack as their first defense.
So you do not eat them, you do not kill them, you just simply...
No, it is a way for me to approach until I can speak with them to let them know I mean no harm, and in some cases allow them to get used to my presence and what I look like. Although it's interesting because I have the ability to shapeshift, but it appears that I choose this form for a reason. I think it has something to do with uniformity. I think it has something to do with choosing this form specifically because it is familiar enough, but familiar enough that they will not be scared that I am not of this planet, but different enough that they know I am something different from them, but keeping the look uniform so that if and potentially when these other tribes or settlements speak to one another, they will know that I have come to all of them, that I am the same being coming to each of them, so there's no confusion.
So this planet is not your planet?
No.
What is the name of this planet?
Marduk.
What planet are you from? Why are you visiting this planet?
I'm here to help.
What are you helping with?
Their planet will be destroyed. We have seen the timelines. Yes, disaster is coming.
You have seen the timelines and you're here to prevent what could happen?
I cannot prevent it. I can only help. It will not come immediately. And there are some things that can be done. The people are willing to speak with me and listen. But ultimately it is up to free will whether they choose to follow my advice or not.
What is your advice?
I think I must keep walking to see specifically where I'm going and who I'm speaking with to be able to answer this correctly.
Are you on the path?
Yes.
What does the path look like?
The forest is more dense now. The light is getting darker. I believe I have purposely come at night so that I may observe and watch their behavior in the darkness, where they will not be alerted to me yet, so I may study them before deciding how I will approach. I am coming up now on a hill or a ridge that is still tree-lined, that is overlooking the settlement. I am still some distance away from the settlement itself, but this device that I have will allow me to do a preliminary scout to observe different structures in the settlement to determine where the residents live and where those who are in power live, and what the general layout of this place is before I then move closer so that I may more closely observe their behavior. There are other important things I need to look for. I need to understand things about their food source. I'm waiting now and condensing time until tomorrow when it is time for me to approach.
You are condensing time?
Yes, the sun is rising now, and they're beginning to come out of their homes, and they appear to be a relatively peaceful society. There are some hunters, but the children look well taken care of. This is one thing you can always look for. The quality of life of the children is much indicative of the quality of life of the culture as a whole, and also the quality of life of the elders. It is easy for young adults, as you would say, or those in their middle age, to be healthy and capable. But how those in the middle take care of the young and take care of the old is very indicative to their cultural habits, to their beliefs, and to the way in which they interact and care for the community. And they all appear very well fed, very well taken care of. They are quiet, if anything, but it does not strike me as them being quiet because they are not interacting, but that they are quiet because they listen and speak in a different way.
How do they listen and speak?
In the intuitive way.
What is the intuitive way?
They speak to the ground, to the earth without words. They speak to each other without words. There's very clear signs of communication between them. It's not that they do not know how to communicate with each other. It is that they are doing it in an inaudible way.
Telepathically?
Yes,
Can we do the same on Gaia?
of course. Most of you have forgotten.
How do we do so?
It's about learning to understand the energy streams and the pathways which connect all things, including people. And so, in this way, you are open to first listening and observing, much in the way I am doing now. You listen and you observe. You observe behavior. You observe the subtle shifts of energy into that which you are trying to communicate with. And then, eventually, you will notice the pathways that exist between you and them, whether that be a plant, an animal, or another being. And it is simply about finding the correct pathway or channel in which to send the information you desire to send. And then it is about maintaining this connection and pathway in order to receive. Many people on Gaia attempt to communicate with animals, may even speak out loud to them, but they do not find the pathway. They're simply talking over or talking at, and because they have not found the pathway, and they are speaking aloud, which is acceptable, you may also speak aloud. They do not receive answers because they have not opened the pathway. They talk at, they talk over, they're loud, they yell. They do not listen to see if the animal is even responding. They do not stop and observe to see if the animal has even heard them most of the time. However, you can find the pathway, the energetic connection between the two. Some people can see this with their eyes open. Some people see it better with their eyes closed. Some people feel and sense it. Some people hear it like strings on a note. The strings on a note, you find the correct frequency, open the pathway. It is a means to open the pathway. It is a means to open the energy channel because you are tuning or creating the matching frequency.
I feel like I'm speechless most of the time because I'm just in awe of all of this.
It's wild.
It is wild.
So, what happens after that is I channel full directions for telepathy with exercises for humans on Earth to practice.
You're going to share that?
Well, I'm like, I think that has to be its own episode,
Yeah.
you know, and I'll share
That's
the full
wild.
clip. But when I tell you, I cannot believe that shit came out of my mouth.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you at all.
And I knew what I was talking about while I was saying it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's this very weird, like, if you had asked Ona, like, give me some exercises for telepathy, I would have been like, Homie here rattles off like at least 3 or 4 different practices that you can start doing tomorrow to increase your telepathic skills.
That's incredible. I would love to be telepathic.
We all were.
Yeah, I believe that.
At some point. And we have gotten out of touch with it. And that's what I have learned through these sessions and through this life, is that it's a skill everyone is capable of doing. It's just we turned it off in ourselves because we don't tap into our inner world anymore. And for the most part, in terms of education and science, it's I gotta see it to believe it sort of stuff. So when you start talking about these energy streams that you can't necessarily perceive with your eyes in the 3D, but you can perceive with your inner eye and with your energetic body.
Yeah.
This life, so what I've gathered about, I call him, but he's actually a shapeshifter and sometimes shows up as either gender depending on where they're going. But what I've been able to gather about them is they're kind of like, at least at this point, like a first contact specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been taken to multiple planets with this character as they are doing this sort of like first recon, or I don't know what you would call it, where it's like going through the process of observing a new culture that they're about to approach and offer help to, and what is the process for that in terms of figuring out who they are, what is the best way to approach without creating conflict, because they're always very specific to like not want to create any fear. You know, it's meant to be an amiable experience. Mm-hmm. It's done out of love and wanting to help. It's never out of control. And I have a couple more clips from this person, but like absolutely fascinating.
That is.
And I think what blew my mind the most about it was when you start seeing, one, cultures from other planets and how they operate. For example, what we heard in this clip is that none of the beings on that planet spoke out loud.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they were humanoid. They share DNA similar to, you know what I mean? They just evolved differently on a different planet, right? So that's number one. But then like 2, then seeing them through an alien's eyes, whose job it is to sort of like go to these different places and assess, like, my God, like that part about you can tell a lot about a culture by how they treat their children and their elders.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And it just makes you think like, how do they look at us? Yeah. How are they analyzing us? What would we look like to an alien species? Like, what would be the things that they're like, oh, and what would be the things that they're like, well, that makes no fucking sense? Like,
yeah, I'm sure a lot of it, to be honest. Because that life hasn't come to Earth, you said, right?
That one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they've been to Earth.
Oh, okay.
The next clip I'm going to play is them coming to Earth.
Okay.
But like way a long time ago,
they
came to Earth.
Right.
And what's fascinating is this is actually one of my parallel lives.
Okay.
It's not a past life.
Okay. Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about time.
Yeah.
It's nonlinear.
Right.
It doesn't exist. But in terms of the experience on Earth, how we perceive it right now, it's linear. right? There's a past, there's a present, there's a future. We are born as babies, we live a life, and we die, right?
Yeah.
Beginning, middle, end sort of stuff. Lives on other planets. Like, how do I explain this? So, what do you know about Ascension? I guess we'll start there. What is Ascension to you? What does that mean?
Coming to be sort of another being, like raising up to be another being.
Yes. It's like raising up to be perhaps the highest version of yourself.
Yeah, like an evolution almost.
Right.
Yeah.
And so part of that, to my understanding, is when you ascend, you also sort of evolve past death.
Okay.
Like if you're ascending and you're one with God, or your God self, or you know the secrets of the universe, or however you want to word it, you're not limited by death anymore. So this is a very highly evolved alien that, yes, in the spiral of time is very fucking old, and like from my past, you may say, but he's still alive. So it's a parallel life. He's existing now while I'm existing now. And there's even in some sense that, like, yes, your past lives are still living now, but this is slightly different in that, I can communicate with him. And I know that's such a weird thing to say and admit out loud on a podcast, but it's kind of similar to what we were talking about earlier. It's like once we made connection in this way, like we're connected.
Yeah.
We have the capacity to do that. And as he was just fucking describing, he knows how to speak telepathically. So like the first time that came into my head, I was like, whoa, wait, is it you? Oh, it's you. Cool. And like real talk, one of my favorite lives.
Okay.
He's super cool.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the perspective that they have, because it's this very like grounded, knowing, calm, but also he doesn't miss anything in the way that like when we connect in this type of work and I'm experiencing one of these moments from their life, I'm also feeling their energy and also the way their mind works. And I'll share this in another episode if you guys are interested, but a part that I didn't share from this clip, this same journey that I went on, is that eventually there are a couple beings that come and approach him. And what I remember experiencing was like this Matrix moment, truly. And I can hear the words coming out of my mouth as he's narrating for like our human benefit, me and the practitioner, like what's happening. But he's describing how these people are coming up and he knows that they're not dangerous, but one of them is a little young and a little hot-headed and might just like want to prove himself in front of the elders that he's with. But like the experience I had was these people coming up, clocking the one that was like maybe going to try and attack him. And right as it was about to happen, everything fucking slowed down. And as the guy was like jumping to come and like try and stab me, I literally just went, stepped to the side, and the guy face planted right in front of me. And then he got up and tried one more time, and he just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like literally like Matrix. But I felt times like I knew I could see, even though his body wasn't moving, it was like I could see forward in the timeline what his body was going to do. It was the trippiest, craziest, coolest shit. I was like, wait, can we do that if we do telepathy,
Yeah, right.
like, can we? And you see those like kung fu masters and stuff. They do kind of have this sense. I had never experienced that like that in this life before, and it was so. And I knew beyond shadow of a doubt and with complete certainty that he was going to come with me with that fist.
Yeah.
And after he did it once or twice, there was this moment where, like, I don't remember if I telepathically reached out to him or it was one of the other people they were with, but it was basically like, you done now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna fight back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you can keep going, like, until you're ready, but I'm in peace, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instructions for telepathy coming up soon
I can't wait.
on Ancient
Oh my
Astronauts. But yeah, it's wild hearing that kind of stuff come out of my mouth.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of really cool stuff from this life, though, and I do actually have a couple more clips if you're ready to dive into another one.
I like
All right.
this.
So this is the same alien from the first clip on Earth, but a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't know the exact time frame, but before our history books.
Okay. Exciting.
I'll let it speak for itself.
Tuning string. Earth.
They're saying to me, look how good they look how well fed they are, look how groomed they are. This is all in appearance, and there are deep secrets even within the underbelly of this city that disgust me so much I do not even want to tap into them energetically, but I must, because I must bear witness and I must bring this information back to my council. And indeed, I will go there physically before I leave to see it with my own eyes, and they will not know. I am able to shift my form in many ways and even become invisible. And I know I must go see and bear witness with my own eyes, even though it will be very sickening and painful to see. But they deserve to be seen. It is a hard burden to not, in this moment, feel as if we have abandoned them. We did not. We gave them all the tools. And indeed, they did not look at it as abandonment. But I can't help myself from worrying now if that's the story they tell each other. That was fed by the Anunnaki. But this is not for me to be dwelling my thoughts in. I have decided it is time to go. I have seen enough. I have heard enough. And of course, they are refusing to leave. They do not believe they have done anything wrong. As I leave, I cannot help myself. I decide to do something that would be considered radical by some, and that would be completely unnoticed by most. I have an instrument in my bag, a musical instrument, and I decide to play it as I walk through the town. And as I've said, most would not seem anything strange about this, except for that I'm a rather strange-looking person in this place in general. And yes, maybe it would be odd to see a singular person walking down the street in this way, playing this strange-looking flute. I know I do not have much time to play, for they will send the Anunnaki after me to stop me. So I take a stroll, and I play. Play to all the hearts of the people here. Play to their dreams. Play a song to remind them who they really are. To remind them of their freedom. To remind them of their creativity. To remind them of all the things we wove together. We came here early on. They will not even see this as such. There are no words to this song. No. But they will feel it. And they will feel inexplicably drawn to it. And they will feel shifts changing in their own vibrational signature, in their own body, language, DNA. And indeed, everyone is coming out of their homes now. Everyone is coming. No one can help themselves. Even those who are fearful found themselves standing outside this stone path, lining it almost as if they're here to watch a one-person parade. It can be heard everywhere. I have made sure of it. I am using my feet, my bare feet on the ground, to send the vibrational cords directly into the grid that is here in this place. And I even take a moment to sing, to play a verse for those that I know who are imprisoned currently in many different ways. I send a verse just for them, so that if nothing else in this moment, they know that they are seen, they are not alone, and they are not forgotten. And we will be back. I know I don't have much time here left. And as I take a moment to multiply my energetic signature, to go to these places I've spoken of, to bear witness to these people, I have done so with my instrument as well. Cloning, if you will, to see it all, so that all may hear it all. I know I only have a few minutes now. I can hear the rumblings of anger and dissent. For this moment, I allow myself to look into these people's faces, see the joy, the hope. With a whisper on my flute, I tell them never to lose this. Yet I hear them coming, I hear them coming, so one last flourish. I send as much love to my instrument as I can. It indeed appears almost as if a shooting star has struck me and exploded out from me within all directions, spreading, reaching and touching all of those. And as the lights dissipate, as the flash or the explosion starts to dissipate in the air, they will see that I am no longer there.
I wasn't expecting that to make me emotional. It's been a while since I've listened to that one. So, from what I can gather, the context is that, much like we saw or listened to in the first clip from this being, there was a point where they came down to Earth, offered help to the humans, and were working with them. And this being actually gets a little bit more into this in the next clip, but it's always very particular to say when they offer help in this way and they're having that sort of first contact conversation. Always says, we're not here to rule you. We're here to help. And we're not going to be here forever. Because the point is not for them to become reliant on them or to worship them. The point is to offer help so that they are more in alignment with their goals and can be more self-sustained. Mm-hmm. So the context in this clip was that it was past that point. They had come down, they had helped, they had left. A different ET extraterrestrial race came down, told them that they were like the better versions of the first beings, that they were gods.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the Anunnaki. Are you familiar with the Anunnaki at all?
No.
So you can find drawings of them and cave drawings of them. And I don't know when exactly historically they first popped up, but they're in a lot of like ancient Sumerian stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see them as creatures that look like giants. Oftentimes they have these very thick, long beards. Almost, if you imagined the biggest Viking giant sort of being, and they were humanoid, but they were also extraordinary in some ways. And it is my perception, based on this experience with this journey that I went through with this parallel life version of me, came down and was like offering help and worked with the people, whereas the Anunnaki came down and ultimately projected themselves as gods.
Mm-hmm.
And offered them things like technology or this or that in exchange for other things. Whereas this being was empowering humans to find God within themselves and their own creator power and to build and expand their dreams and their visions. The Anunnaki came down and put that all in, I don't want to say the first church, but they said, no, come here, worship us instead. I'll give you things. I'll give you what you're asking for. You don't need to figure out how to do it. I'll give it to you in exchange for this. Come and worship me. Come and bring me your gold. They had humans mining gold, and they have found human remains in gold mines. And it is my perception, based on this experience, that part of why they were doing that was because they fucked up the atmosphere on their planet. Mm-hmm. And something about gold helped them to repair it. And so they came down to Earth with the intention to enslave the human race. And this is where we learned slavery. Mm. Because it happened to us from an ET race, and it has been in our DNA.
That's insane.
And we haven't really been able to fully confront it because this part of our collective history has been hidden from us.
Yeah.
And so, to bring it back to the clip then, what you're experiencing is this being coming back down to Earth after being away for a while and seeing with horror what the Anunnaki have done. And feeling all the complicated emotions of, we didn't abandon them, but they probably feel that way. And this is so not what our intention was.
Right.
And to see a society that, when this being had left, was flourishing, now be essentially under a dictatorship. And deciding in a last moment of revolution to fucking play a rebel song on the flute, throw his feet into the harmonic grid of Earth, or what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what a badass. That's so cool.
Really wild. It's wild.
When there's I don't know if you caught a couple of the other random little drop-ins in there. I catch more things every time. He says at the end he's gonna multiply his energetic signature, or clone, if you will, and go like multiply himself out to go see all the people, specifically the people that are imprisoned underground, so that someone is witnessing them and they know that they're being seen and that they're not alone. In this final act, the Anunnaki like come back to get him. And then he just like fucking sheds his body at the end and disappears. Did you catch that? I was this alien has so much control over physical appearance and matter that not only can they shapeshift to look like whatever species or creature or beings live on that planet that they're going to interact with, but also can just shed the body and like float back up into the whatever dimension they came from. Like,
that's wild.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Are still doing that?
Yeah. Still doing that.
I mean, I keep saying it's wild, but at the same time, it's like, I believe it. Like, I can see it. I hear it. That's history, I guess. It's just so interesting. It's like, it's so hard to grasp, but at the same time, it's like I'm literally hearing it. So you can tell when things are real and when they're not.
Yeah, there's a certain resonance. And like, I'll admit, when that's coming out of my mouth, even to me, it sounds unbelievable. But what I can't question is how it lands in my body and my body's reaction to hearing it, even now, replaying back to it.
Yeah.
And the emotions. I mean, you saw me. I was like fucking wiping my nose over here because it is really emotional. And I remember being back there, and I also recognize and see the echoes of that in my life now, and how important many of those sentiments that he expressed are to me now. Yeah. And even though to my knowledge, I don't have a magical flute I can play through my feet, I do have a passion for changing people through art, through storytelling.
Yeah.
I think music can reach people in a way that words can't, even if we can't fully describe and understand. We've all felt how even songs without words can stir all these deep emotions in you.
Yeah.
In all directions.
Yeah, that's very true. Music is incredibly powerful. I feel like it unlocks things within our bodies and brains
that we don't understand yet. Yeah. And this is something that comes up, oddly enough, in a lot of my journeys and my past lives and stuff. This comes up a lot as about harmonics and tones and using music and sound not only to heal but to also create. And I think like we have barely scratched the surface of it on Earth at this current point. And I think that it's going to begin to unlock a lot more, or at least I'll speak for myself, that music has been opening up a lot of different pathways for me, especially since I started strumming around on the harp, like, because it came from, I was hearing this song in my head. And I was dreaming about the song, and I was waking up, and I was like, this song was in my head, and it was a harp song. And I'm like I said before, I don't play any instruments. I don't know how to read sheet music. Like, I definitely don't know how to compose anything consciously. And it was so stuck in my head. I had to figure out a way to get it into the 3D world. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I know that it's important. I know that it's ancient. I know that I don't understand what it is, but I understand that I need to get this out of my head.
Yeah.
I've just been sort of trying to give myself permission to play around without judgment.
Yeah.
When I start playing it, it brings me completely back to a grounded zero in a way that feels like I'm tapping in with the most ancient part of myself. Like, it's not just like breathness and stillness and meditation. It's like empty, and not in a sad or a scary way. Like empty, like the void where there's nothing, but then there's also everything. Like empty void, like the womb, like the breath in the emptiness before creation, where everything is created from. I don't quite know how to explain it yet. And I definitely don't have the song quite right yet or figured out. I hear it very clearly. I've been sort of getting, and this came through a couple QHHT sessions, you just need to sit down with the harp, set whatever intention you want, whether it's healing or grounding or energy or creative boost, and don't even look at the strings and just pluck 4.
Yeah.
And then pluck them again in the same order and pluck them again and go into it in an intuitive way. And like, that shit works, and I don't get it yet, but it works in a way that because I think one of the hardest things for humans is controlling our emotions or managing them. I don't want to say controlling them, managing them. I don't know. Maybe sound's the secret. Music.
Very well, maybe.
Even in a couple of these lives, I've seen like just little glimpses of people like moving things with sound. Like things, big, heavy things with sound. And there's a lot of people that have theories that like that's how the pyramids were made.
Oh, interesting.
That it wasn't slavery or any, it was literally group intention and toning and levitating the blocks in order to build them. That it was a harmonic group project, basically, of everyone holding the same vision, same intention, knowing whatever the tone is to make things float. It sounds so wild to say, but like, wouldn't it be so cool if we could tap back into that?
Yes. That would be incredible. I would be very into that.
Just think about all the things we could do. If it could heal the bodies, if it could move physical matter, like tune the emotional body, but I also suspect it can actually heal the physical body too.
Yes. Because you've heard about like cats' purrs.
Yeah.
How they can like
the Hertz frequency. For sure.
Bone and things like that. And like break up kidney stones. And I have a friend who literally had kidney stones, and her cat used to come and lay on her back and purr.
Oh.
And she went to the doctor, and like they'd been
and they were
broken up
gone?
and gone. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Isn't that wild?
I believe it though. I believe
and
it.
that they know.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's why they go do their work.
Well, yeah. They can see in between things. It was so funny when I was on the road traveling for 5 months after getting evacuated from LA to the wildfires. Yeah, the cats would be very specific about where they would lay down on my body. And it would be interesting because I'm pretty tuned in with my body these days. And I can tell when one of my chakras is low energy, or if I'm feeling really triggered by something, I can identify where I'm holding it in the body. And without fail, I'm laying down, meditating, trying to do some breath work to see if I can move the energy from that place. And one of the cats will come and lay directly on that chakra. Begin purring and humming. They told me in QHHT that when the cats touch you when you're sleeping, they're giving you codes because they can act as a bridge between the realms too. But it's like, even if you're open to receiving codes from your higher self or your spirit guides or DNA upgrades or whatever you want to call them, that the cats can help actually ground it down into the 3D body because they are tapped in with that realm, but they're also here in the 3D. So they can kind of be like the gatekeeper and make sure the door's open and that it's integrating into the human body in the right place that it needs to be. I was like, what? Yeah. Also, low-key, while we're on the topic of cats and weird spirit work, I won't go too much into this because honestly, this is a whole episode story. But when I was on the road and the first time I was in Sedona, Rafi got really sick, like super sick, like throwing up blood for 24 hours. And I was freaking out, dude. And he first started puking blood and it was nighttime. It was the middle of the night, right? And I was like, fuck, all the vets are closed. Do I take him to emergency care? When I was getting really stressed out, and the person that I was with suddenly got this intuitive ping that was like QHHT. We're like, what? QHHT? And they were like, put Ona under. I was like, okay. So we went and did the induction to put me into a state of trance. And instead of going into a past life, Rafi's higher self came in and talked to me and the person I was with through my body and gave her instructions to do Reiki on the cat body. So the higher self was channeling through me instructions, Reiki instructions to do on the physical cat body. And I had my eyes shut. I was in trance, right? And I could see both what her hands were doing and inside the cat's body, the piece of plastic that the cat had swallowed and that she encouraged through different intentions and movements with the hand to pass it through the cat's body.
That's crazy.
Within 24 hours, it was fine.
That's wild.
Never have I ever.
That's amazing.
Like, I didn't even know you could use QHHT with that. But here's the thing is when you're in trance and your ego's out of the fucking way, you can actually do anything. You're capable of doing anything. And this comes through sessions all the time. When the higher self comes through, the higher self can actually initiate healing in the body, even for chronic illnesses and stuff. Because most of the time, the messages that come through sessions is like, oh, this is a spirit message that this person is ignoring. And if you're ignoring a spiritual message from your higher self or your guidance team, you keep ignoring it, they're going to give you a sign, and they're going to give you another sign. And then if you're still ignoring it, they're going to give you a stronger sign, and then an even stronger sign. And when it gets to the point that it manifests in the physical body where you're experiencing some kind of physical sensation that you can't ignore anymore, like they only go to that extreme when you've ignored a bunch of the other ones first. But if you get the message, then you don't need the physical symptoms anymore. And that shit is wild. I did a session on someone in Colorado while I was traveling who was an older woman in her 70s. And one of her questions was, why do my eyes cross? And what came through from her higher self was she's actually a highly evolved soul with a lot of spiritual gifts, but she doesn't like the state of the world down here on Earth right now and doesn't want to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's why her eyes were crossing, to make the vision blurry so that she wouldn't have to see these things she didn't want to see.
Wow.
And once she received that message, the next day her eyes had straightened out. I kid you not. I can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, no.
Like, that was a real client that I had in Colorado in February. So, yeah. Magical flutes and sound healing. And I feel like we went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but
Yeah, it was a good one.
well, I have one more clip
Okay.
from the same being, which came through in the same journey, but is really relevant to Earth right now.
Okay.
And it is my perception that some of this sort of came about because of this interaction and witnessing of what the Anunnaki was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, you hear him saying in the clip, I need to take this back to my council. So here's one more ET clip for everybody.
Okay.
Tuning string. Not Earth.
No desire to rule you. I am simply here to help. For as long as you wish to listen and understand what I have to offer, at any point you do not wish for my help any longer, I will leave. When I feel you are ready, I will also leave. It is not my wish to rule, nor is it my wish to abandon you. But you must understand, this is not my home, and I will not stay forever. This is important for them to know. Many civilizations can become clouded by ideas that you will fix everything for them, that you are here to save them, that perhaps you're even here to rule them. It is important for them to know this is not what we desire. We are here more as an educational investment for as long as they are willing to learn. And the more they become ready, the more that will be offered. This can be a short-term relationship or a long-term relationship, depending on how both sides respond. It also depends upon the circumstances in which I am coming here. For example, if they do not have much time until the inevitable destruction, the nature of our relationship will be different than if they're simply on the wrong path, but have time to make changes and decide to make those changes. This indeed could blossom from a simple educational investment to a beautiful long-term friendship. There are many places we come back and visit over many years, many decades, many centuries, many longer time than you can possibly fathom.
Places that you help and come back to visit?
Yes.
So you have helped many planets.
Yes. We have helped many planets.
Is Gaia one of them?
We have helped Gaia, yes. We have shared within another QHHT session 2 other sessions which were on Gaia. We have not been back to Earth in our usual, our original form, if you will, in some time, because of the deciding after the ruling that about the non-interference clause on Earth.
Non-interference clause on Earth?
Yes.
Is that still active?
Its release is being negotiated depending on how the humans respond to the progression towards this timeline, towards open contact. There was a time where we would come, and we would come back and visit many times. And then there was a time when other ET races abused these visitation privileges that were open on this planet, and it was decided that humans on Earth needed to have the space to evolve without intervention for some period of time until they reached a certain point when they would be ready. You see, there are many factors that go into whether we make contact with a civilization or not, many of which are too difficult to explain to you at this time. There are many different factors. And indeed, every race we wish to help, that is not always the case, that we can and are allowed to, or that it would be the right thing to do. And there's a certain timing, certain time frame, and because of the specific experiment on Earth, because of the specific parameters of this experiment and the specific desires of the greater galactic community, which the intention, as I mentioned before, is to unite all, to celebrate diversity. The human DNA on Gaia has more than any other seeded race has ever had in this universe. And it was the intention that if we had a little bit of everyone, perhaps the fighting would stop. Perhaps this was all able to be boiled down and figured out on one planet, instead of stretched throughout the eons of the universe. That humans may be the key to reunite us all, so that we stop seeing all of our differences as threats and setbacks and things to separate us, but instead realizing that it is, in fact, diversity that adds more colors to the rainbow.
Yeah.
That makes things more beautiful. And so that is why the non-interference clause was initiated. Because with some of the, well, when you have multiple different kinds of races coming down to a planet, all with different cultures and different belief systems and different ideas, it's very hard for them to find their own identity at all. And they didn't need to be influenced by us. Otherwise, we would have solved the problem, wouldn't we? But we couldn't. We needed humans to do it. We needed the humans on Earth, on Gaia, to do it. To see how they might be able to figure it out. It is hard when, even in many ways, like my culture, we've been around for so long. We do not have infighting within our people.
You don't have any fighting within your people? Like wars?
No. Once you reach a certain state of what you would say evolution or ascension, you evolve past these things. But it does not mean everyone is at the same place on their evolutionary journey as we are. And so there are others who are still learning. And there have been great losses because of that. But, I mean, of course, we have tried. We have tried, as many others have tried, as many other races of ETs have tried. The problem is, sometimes when you are at such different places on your evolutionary path, and this is no judgment, we say this with no judgment, we do not mean we are above anyone, but we are simply at different places on our evolutionary journey. It becomes very difficult to talk to each other and see each other clearly. Because we have moved past certain ideas and behaviors, and so therefore, in some ways, it is difficult for us to relate to them who are still holding on to it. And the reverse is also true. When they have not gone through all of the same challenges and growth moments that we have gone through to get to where we have been, they cannot and do not trust. They cannot see what is right. They cannot trust what we are saying, and it does not seem to them to be the truth. And indeed, who are we the ones to say what the truth is? We can only share what has worked for us. So it was thought, if we put all this DNA on Earth, that had to all work itself out within the body, within its people, within each other, through the complexity of human emotions. May be the key to understanding us all.
The look on your face right now. What's going on? What are your thoughts?
It's just so interesting, like being in different parts of our evolutionary journey. Because I can relate that just to trying to communicate with another human who's just not as emotionally, evolved or whatever, right? To trying to think of that in like this large of a scale,
Right.
where an entire planetary species can't communicate effectively with us. Because we're just, you have to figure things out for yourself, don't you? But wow, I want to know when.
I know.
The negotiation, when's that happening?
Well, girl, let me tell you. So this came through a session originally, maybe like December is when I recorded that.
Okay.
And literally weeks later was when all those UAP videos started showing up, and inexplicable objects falling from the sky. Even just recently, there's that Dugasphere or whatever.
Big black circle. Was that over the Grove? Or was that? It looked like it was over I couldn't tell from the video I was watching, but it looked like it was.
Oh my God. Well, Dugasphere is an actual object that landed on Earth that has all these inscriptions on it.
Did you see the one today?
No.
Like a big black circle in the sky. And it didn't quite look solid. Yeah. But it wasn't just like a black cloud. It was it's very defined.
And you saw this today in LA?
No, it was on the internet.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
But it looked, because they didn't say where they were, but I was like trying to figure out where they were, and I was like, I think that's the Grove. I think they're at the Grove.
Wow.
But I feel like we would have seen like way more videos than just the one if it was that. But anyway, I literally just saw it today, so I was like, wait, what? What's happening?
Yeah. Basically, it's my understanding that it's inevitable.
Yeah.
That how cool we get to be like in the part of history where the ETs contact us again in a more direct way. Obviously, it's my belief from the journeys that I've been on that they've been here before.
Yeah.
But much in the way that my parallel life was saying, they're monitoring closely to see when we're ready. Because the ETs, and this is my personal opinion, based on a lot of experience, that the ETs who want to contact us at this period of time are kind of like, you guys might hear my cat scratching on the cat cactus in the corner. Rafi. Oh, you're doing it, baby. You're doing it.
He's like, it's time.
It's time
to get wild of the night.
Because there's polarity in all things, right? So just as there are humans with more positive polarity and humans with negative polarity, the same exists for ETs, as do all worlds that have polarity or duality, right? Yeah. The ones I personally have had experience with through sessions, either my own or others that are coming through, the ones that are preparing to contact us are like kind of like our mothers and fathers in a way. Like they have no intentions of hurting us, of disrupting our life. They purely want to help us reach the next stage of our evolution. But we have to be stable enough that them showing up isn't going to send us spiraling into chaos and destruction, which has been our pattern as a species.
Yeah.
Our pattern when we see something unfamiliar in the sky is not, oh, how interesting. I'm so curious. I wonder what that is. I wonder if we can reach out and contact it. It's load up the guns, boys. Get in all of the aircraft. Like, we're rolling out the war machine. And
really
their technology is surpassed ours. We can't touch them in that way, but they don't want to cause harm and fear and destruction, and especially not us fighting each other because we're scared of something we saw in the sky. So that's my understanding, is they're monitoring it, that conversations like this help being curious about the possibilities and what that might look like if it was a positive interaction. Because I think movies and stuff have taught us that they're here only in a negative capacity.
Sell tickets. It's always high octane.
Yeah.
There's got to be conflict, otherwise.
But what if there wasn't conflict?
No, I know.
Right? In our actual life.
No, exactly. This is making me feel actually like very comforted, especially with what's going on in the world right now. Like, if there were a time, you know.
Yeah.
Now may be it. Especially what they were saying about thinking that the more types of people and the more diversity that there would be, that it would create more, what was it, like peace and understanding and
more colors of the rainbow.
Yeah, but unfortunately that hasn't quite been the case.
But we've come really far.
We have come really far.
And think about that. I think that this also gave me comfort in a different sense, because when you're in the thick of it here on Earth, it can feel like, why is there racism? Why is there borders? Like, why? Like, it can feel so confusing. But if you think about it under the context that, for example, over 24 different ET races, DNA, are in our bodies. We're not talking like, because people like to say there's different races on Earth. No, there's not. We're all humans, right? But what we perceive as different races is the pigment of our skin.
Yeah.
But actually sit down to think about 24 different races of DNA from 24 plus different planets. Some that are humanoids, some that are not humanoids. Some, like, we got a little glimpse into a humanoid telepathic community in one of these clips, but we have not dove into any of the insectoid stuff, any of the reptilian, you know what I mean? 24 different races of DNA, all in one human body. That's a lot of interesting conflict and diversity to work through.
Yeah.
If you're programmed to sort of feel like the other is different, because in some ways there's certain genetic aspects of different pieces of those DNA showing themselves. I don't know. They always said, like, America's the melting pot, right? But the way I see it from a galactic viewpoint now is Earth is the melting point. And so if we can work it out within our own DNA, truly and really do these healings, clear out all the ancestral trauma, and actually really see each other as ourselves rather than the other, Like, we're still connected to all of them with that DNA.
Yeah.
That ripples out to everything. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, what he said is we needed humans to solve it. And yeah, sure, we feel like fucking chaotic as hell. And how are we ever gonna, like, it feels insurmountable. But if you look at it in this greater galactic context, we are succeeding.
Okay.
And the reason it feels especially chaotic right now is because the last ones holding on to the old systems that are not working, that the majority is ready to move past, to evolve past.
Yeah.
Wars and fighting and homelessness and scarcity and all this bullshit. It's exploding so it can fully explode.
Yeah, you're totally right.
And I think the trick for all of us who are empathic and who feel so much during this time of chaos is to remind ourselves we cannot let ourselves be dragged back down into fear, because that is how we continue that cycle.
Yeah.
And so how can we, in the face of all of these final tests coming up that are meant to incite fear, to really see if you're going to fall for it and you're going to go back into fear, or whether you're going to choose a different pathway that leads to love instead, because fear does not lead you to love. But I think there's a lot of people that think, well, I have to be upset about this. Do you see what's going on? So many people are getting hurt, and all of that is true. But you spiraling into a panic about it, allowing yourself to become even physically sick because you're so emotional about it, that is not you operating from love, and it's certainly not you operating in the highest version of yourself where you're actually going to be able to change anything.
Yeah, no.
Because you can't change or fix anything when you're in a state of turmoil like that, whether it's happening to you directly or whether you're watching it from afar. And it doesn't mean don't help people.
Yeah.
It means don't help people from that state.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
No.
You're not even stable yourself.
No.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I stand with a more subtle galactic perspective on all the chaos happening on Earth is we get to choose how we respond to it. We can't control what people do. We can't control when people even cheat the system. But we can choose how we respond and what we do next. And we can choose what we're willing to put up with anymore.
Yeah.
But it has to come from a state of grounded peace, calm, and clarity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just feeding into their energy, which is exactly what they want in order to keep the cycle perpetuating. Well, I have one last little clip to lift the mood.
Mm-hmm.
This is from my higher self.
Okay.
Trolling me slightly about money. But this was really moving to me, and it helped me make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
To be quite honest. And I thought I wanted to at least end the episode with one clip from the higher self.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of stuff we can share and obviously a lot to talk about, but wanted to end on this silly clip because also spirituality doesn't have to all be serious. And coming back to my first life, like, let's have as much fun as we can.
Yeah.
Laugh through, find the light and the joy, simple pleasures in between. And from Ona's higher self to you, I hope you giggle about this as much as I did.
Tuning string. Superconscious.
Practicing the other thing more. Practice abundance more than you practice poverty. This is the big challenge. This is what Ona was dealing with for years before she finally figured it out. The constant battle of, do I have a restaurant job or do I wait for the next show? Do I try and do bartending or do I trust the movies coming in? You know, it can be very challenging to live a freelance life, and it requires more control over your emotions. It is not difficult to live a freelance life in terms of execution. The difficulty is in controlling your emotions and trust and faith that you are completely capable of generating enough abundance to not only take care of you, but to thrive and to have excess to take care of others. And you are completely capable of doing things that you love and inspire you and making obscene amounts of money from doing that. And that you are completely capable of opening yourself up to receive and not reject these avenues when they come. Money is not, what is the word we're looking for? Money is not judgmental in terms of who it goes to. If it were, then only the people you perceive as good people would be rich, and that is certainly not the case. It goes where it is welcomed and accepted. Now, obviously, we wish for you to do this in a way that supports your highest good. Not all do. And that should be, again, proof enough. Money is not discriminatory. That is the word we're looking for. Money is not discriminating you. Money has nothing against you. If anything, you have something against money. Because you are telling it it is unreliable. You are telling it it will not always be there. And it's saying, what do you mean? I come through your work job and a check every month. What do you mean I'm not there? What do you mean you always need more? I'm giving you what you have asked for. You keep telling me I'm not there. You keep telling everyone how worried you are about me. What a bad friend I am. Who is being the bad friend? By telling money how unreliable they are. This is also helpful sometimes, as we have said to Ona, thinking of money. We gave her the example. The moment you begin treating money like you do kittens, you will be rich. And this is something Ona greatly identified with, because she cannot pass any kitten from making silly baby noises and going and telling them and singing songs to them about how cute they are and rubbing her face all over their bellies. She cannot help herself. It doesn't matter where the cat is, whether it's someone's cat, whether it's a street cat, she will try and get that cat to come over to her, and she will eventually find a way to get it on her lap. And she will cuddle it and love it. And if she, even now, as, you know, she is, as we all experience, different waves of learning, if she could lean into that even more now, she would be replenishing everything she perceives that she is spending in ways that would be beyond, in ways that would delight her and giggle her and make her hysterically laugh that she ever thought that the money wasn't going to come back.
How can Ona lean into that more?
She knows. Let me explain it this way, because it will be helpful to you as well. Ona was doing a lot of money manifestation. She was doing all of the stuff that we're suggesting you do. She was doing it very diligently. And then she had a couple breakthroughs, which allowed her to have comfortability. And now she has been and is currently sitting in a state of neutrality with money. So she's not really working on actively manifesting the way that she was, which is why she's not seeing huge amounts coming back in. She has a state of neutrality with it, so she is not panicking, she is not in poverty, she is not paying her bills, she is not having negative energy exchange with money that would cause her circumstances to drastically change. She has a neutrality where she understands the universe will always take care of her, where she understands it's in her highest good to only do work that she is excited and thrilled by, and that these projects she has been working on and developing will eventually bring her lots of money. She knows all of this. And so she is in a state of neutrality about money. She knows it will always be there. She knows she's taken care of. Where she can lean into it more is, again, getting excited more about money, creating more avenues for money to coming in, singing to herself about being rich or whatever little ditties she makes up to herself. She used to sing these in the shower. She used to have a money bar of soap that every time she washed herself, she would sing this little money song that she found or made up, this money spell, and she was doing that consistently, and that's why she kept getting gift after gift of $10,000, $100,000. Oh, here's 10,000 again. Oh, here's 15. This kept happening to her. She has not done this for some time because she allowed herself to allow the positivity to reach neutrality because she was spending so much money with moving and other things. And so it's not that she's doing anything wrong, but if she wants to see her bank account fill up quicker, she could definitely lean into more, which is why we were pleased that she did this with you this morning, because it reminded her that, right, she should, at the very least, be doing a money burn list once a week. She does not necessarily need to do it every day, but if she did do it every day, she would probably make another $100,000 next month.
I think after hearing that, I feel like she would do it every day.
You humans are funny. Sometimes you know what would be good for you, and we understand. We don't wish to say more. We do not want to criticize. From my higher self to you, treat money like you do kittens, and you will be rich.
That should be a whole philosophy.
But when I tell you that clicked, because I'm never mean to a cat ever.
No, not a chance.
Not a chance. But the way I was talking to money and about money,
this makes so much sense.
I mean, like, if you had a friend, Sophie, who, like, is going through something and you show up at their house and you're there, and they're like, have you ever had this? And someone's like, I'm so alone. And you're like, girl,
chill.
I'm right here.
Yeah,
you're like, no, but, like, I'm always alone and nothing works out for me. And you're like, but
yes,
I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here. You're not actually alone because I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you had a friend who every single time you came over did that shit,
yeah.
How long before you would be like, you know what? Yeah. That's what money does.
Sorry.
If you're going, where are you? I need to pay my rent. There's nothing about that energy that makes anything want to stay.
It's so true.
Especially if then when money finally comes in and you're like, it's in your account for like 3 hours before you spend it and send it away. It's like, what do you mean? You were begging for me to come. I came. And then you just kicked me out of your house when I got here.
That's my problem. Because I always feel like I'm behind. So, like, I'm waiting to get paid because I owe something. So then it never stays in my account. It immediately goes to the thing that I owe.
So what if money looked like the fat cat that never left your bed?
I love that cat.
Yeah. Personifying money in that way changed everything for me. And I know some people who will, like, even give money a name and write letters to money, but like love letters to money. And then to bring it full circle back to what you were saying earlier, it's about catching yourself in those moments. Yeah. And flooding yourself with the new ideas and new programming, or the new relationship in this case, Because you do it often enough, and it, don't get me wrong, feels fucking weird and silly and even a little ridiculous at first. But if you commit to it, eventually it feels a little less silly and then a little less ridiculous. And then it even starts feeling a little fun. And then when you start having fun, that's when it really starts coming in. Because then that's when you're in a state of trust and flow and safety.
Yeah.
Which is, if you think of like, how would I feel if I was rich? It's like living in the state of the wish fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
If you were rich, if you were a millionaire,
You wouldn't even think about it.
right? Would you be even conscious of when the rent check, you know what I mean? You would just have it on auto pay. You would have everything on auto pay. You wouldn't be like, oh, can I make this bill payment? So, yeah, manifestation is really like, how much mind fuckery can I participate in?
Yep.
How much can I trick myself into thinking I have the reality I want?
Exactly. And ignoring the circumstances that you're chained to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Until the chains fall off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm working on it, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's always a process, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I took you through my Earth life. I took you through my alien stuff. We did a brief little glimpse into my higher self. Like, I know it probably felt like a lot, but where are you at now?
I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Hell yeah.
I'm so curious.
Yeah, so like, if you like had to name one past life that you would either want to have happened or that you suspect has happened, what would you say?
Well, those are two wildly different things. Because the one that I would have hoped to have happened is, I don't know, living a very comfortable and lovely life which I know isn't the case.
Why do you say that?
I don't know.
We're old as hell.
Like
you probably tried everything.
I hope so. I think that I have some crazy, traumatic, painful, sorrowful, filled with death and misery past life. Because I just had these things. I had this deep, dark sadness in me from way too young.
I guess the question is, are you finally ready to let yourself be free of them?
Yes. That I know for sure.
I want to go back to what you hope. Because you started and then you stopped yourself and then you just said, I hope I had a comfortable life. That's the big dream.
I just hope that, I don't know, like people always say princess treatment.
Yeah.
Whatever. I hope that I had princess treatment.
Yeah.
I hope I was a princess and had a big fluffy bed that was covered in cats and, you know, some handsome boy brought me my breakfast in bed.
I love that. I love that for you.
You know, that's what I hope. I need a pond outside that I could go swimming in whenever I wanted, and lots of animals. I hope they're just.
You want to be Snow White? Yeah, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Without the dwarves, I don't need the dwarves.
Yeah.
I don't need 7 strange men. Just one nice one.
Just one nice one.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that for you. I love that for you.
Yeah. And no poison apple, of course.
I had one really cool, I only saw like a little bit of this life. They just gave me a little snapshot.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like a forest fairy. And I lived inside a tree.
Definitely see that.
And I was like, one of my jobs was to like take care of the forest animals specifically, and that was really fun.
Okay, I also want that.
Yeah. I was like, there's so many possibilities. I had someone the other day go to a mermaid life, and that shit
I
was
want that one
cool,
too.
right?
Oh no. I want it all. I want all the fantasy ones. I want all the fantasy lives.
See, you know what that tells me? Is you probably mostly do that. And you had a couple Earth ones, and you're back here to like work through it, but they feel really heavy because you also remember what it's like to be free.
Ooh. Ooh. You may just be onto something there. Oof. Yeah, because I feel like that's what I've been like aching for my whole life is freedom. Really. Because all those, like, circle back, all those relationships and all those cycles, I always felt like I was being controlled. I felt trapped. And somehow I'd always willingly go back into something that felt like control and freedom. And even now that I am more free, I don't think I've fully achieved it yet. There is still this fear of, I do the thing I really want. How are those people going to come back and try and take it from me? Still. Lose, but there's still ties there, you know?
Yeah. Because you're used to the pattern repeating, so recalibrating the brain and the body even will say to believe that cycle could actually just be done.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
And also so human.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're going to have to schedule a session then.
Yes, please.
We'll go dig in and see what is in your highest good to see and experience at this time and how that might be able to help finalize and cement and ground these huge transitions that you've made, which are so exciting.
Yeah, they are.
I don't have to haunt you. Yeah. And I think what's cool too about this process is like, it helps clear it out of your body too. Because it's kind of like these things, whether this life or past lives, because I've actually had a couple clients go back to memories in this life. That's what their higher self told them, decided to show them. And I think it's like those things do the most harm when we suppress them.
Yes.
And it's not about reopening the wound and, you know, breaking open the scab and allowing all the blood to gush out again.
No.
It's about acknowledging and witnessing. And perhaps even from a standpoint of, I see you.
Yeah.
You got through that. You don't need to hold this anymore. There's something about the act of witnessing and providing that kind of grace and acknowledgement that actually is what allows it to go. It's pretending it didn't happen, suppressing it, pushing it away is ultimately you rejecting a part of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always going to come back.
But if you witness it, see it, and even have compassion for the you that went through that, whether it's this life or another life, that's when that part comes back.
Yeah.
And that piece that might have felt like it drifted or was lost for a little while, that's when it feels safe enough to be back. And it's from that position then that you can go, okay, we saw it, we learned from it, and now we're doing something else.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, any final thoughts or questions you'd like to leave us with today?
Oh my God, I don't know how to. But this is very cool. It does make a lot more seem possible.
Yeah. I love that. The world is so much bigger, more expansive, and magical than we have ever been taught to believe. And I know for myself, part of my mission this time on Earth is to fucking bring magic back. So let's get weird, let's get spooky, let's time travel and not slay the dragons. Let's just bring the dragons back and love them. That's where I'm at with this.
I love this, yes.
So thanks for joining me on this like crazy, wild, deep dive into my weird ass history.
I love it.
And for the rest of you guys, buckle up because it's just going to get weirder. We are only getting started. Very excited for the episodes that we have coming up next. If you're into pirates, moon magic, or an all-female species from the high cosmos, make sure you tune in to the next episodes coming up. We're just getting started. Cool.
Very cute.
Coming up next on Ancient Astronauts. We're heading into a 3-part journey with my friend and fellow astronaut, Rachel. First, I share the real story of my chaotic awakening, how I went from a full-blown skeptic raised by a cult deprogrammer to the woman who astral travels daily and chats with her cats about quantum physics. In part 2, I break down the science of QHHT, how it works, why it matters, and what's really happening in these sessions. Then, in part 3, you'll hear what came through in Rachel's session, which honestly still makes my jaw drop. So stay tuned because this is just the beginning. That's it for this leg of the journey. Thank you for traveling with us today. And to all our fellow astronauts tuning in, stay curious and let the universe guide you home. Special thanks to our audio alchemist, Dustin Stonebrook, tuning the timelines beneath our feet and translating stardust